You're listening to the Did You Hear Show.
Yo, morning, folks.
With your host, Jason Garvey.
Yo. Which camera am I looking at, the main one or this one?
Neither of them, to be honest with you.
This one. What's happening, folks? Today we're joined by the one and only Jay Farrell. Jay, what's happening?
Not a whole lot, Jay. How are you?
Not too bad. We also have Martin Murray back in the house.
What's the story, everybody? How you getting on?
Good man. He's still getting used to it. He's getting better by the week. And we're also joined by Dylan Saunders, is it?
It is indeed.
Dylan Saunders. See that?
I think we just Darden Till. I keep
Yeah, you
saying
should
to
look like Darden Till.
Yeah, you do a bit, actually.
Thank
yeah.
you.
I can't see it.
You do a bit.
Fucking image.
Come here. Speaking of fighting, I suppose we'll jump straight into it. Did you watch the fight?
Man, very disappointing. I'm not going to lie to you. Very disappointing. If I was to put a bet on it, I wouldn't have put a bet on that outcome.
Yeah, no, would I?
You would have. You said it. You go, he's going
You
to
said
lose
it.
by a fluke.
Yeah,
And then
I
even your
did.
mate was like, he's going to break his leg or something.
Yeah, I did say it, but I also said he'd win the first round. I knew the only way he would I thought the only way he would lose would be by fluke.
Really?
Something like that, you know what I
Do
mean?
you
I
not
didn't.
think if that hadn't happened and the fight had went on,
Yes.
do you think he was winning the fight?
No.
Nah, he was
Not
lost the
after
first
watching
round.
it, no. He was getting battered. I couldn't see him coming back from that,
100%.
being honest. Unless, he would have happened to go hell for leather that second round.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he wasn't winning, in my opinion. But I have to say, I thought he defended himself very well when he was on the ground in the end. You know,
Yeah.
them heel kicks were fucking fire.
Yeah.
And then smart
The
little
elbows as
bastard.
well.
Smart little, the elbows. You could see Dustin rubbing his head throughout all the
Yeah,
interview,
yeah.
so obviously hurt him.
The fingers on the glove and all.
The fingers in the glove was
Kicks.
brilliant. Such a
Yeah.
good idea. A bit of a
Poirier's
cheat,
toes
but-
in the fucking fence as well for the choke.
Yeah. It was a messy fight, but look, it's. I just didn't want to see it end that way.
He came out and he looked well. It looked like I seen a few kind of like split screens of the very first fight and this one, and so basically the first 2 minutes he kind of replicated the very first fight with
You watched them side by side,
the
like?
spin kicks. I seen pictures on Twitter.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen them too.
Yeah,
Deadly. The comparisons between them.
yeah,
It was the
yeah.
exact same. It was class looking.
Yeah, it did. So it looked identical. It looked like that's like he was going back to that. He was going back to his roots. And then for him, like he was doing well. People like have this perception just because they don't like him. They have this perception that he was completely getting. Like someone mentioned that he got rocked on the feet, whereas I don't think he barely got touched on the feet.
I didn't see him get rocked.
No, we didn't get
No,
blocked.
do you know what I mean? That's what I mean. And then you blocked a lot of the elbows. Now was Poirier winning? Yes. Was he in a dominant position? Yes.
Yeah.
You had, as Martin said to me earlier, you had 3 minutes ground control, but he never should have fucking went to his back. Like if he had the choke, he should have kept the choke on the feet.
See,
Shouldn't have went to his
this
back.
is where I believe Dustin checked him.
Right.
Because Conor was constantly trying for the bleeding submission.
And I see him break his foot out off the elbow.
That's it. That was a front. It was a front.
was
As far
the
as
elbow.
I've seen, it was a front kick. It was
To
a
the
couple,
elbow.
It was only a couple of seconds before he stepped back. Remember, he threw the right, I think, and then he
But
stepped
John
back.
Kavanagh did come out and say that he was having problems with his ankle
He
in
did,
training
yeah.
camp. So
He went to see a surgeon or something, didn't
yeah, so like if that's the case, you know what I mean? Like it's fucking Jesus, showed you a fucking like Conor's never gonna fucking step out of a fight. Even if he had the sprained ankle, he probably still would have fucking fought him. Do you know what I mean? But
he? He fought Poirier the first time with
Yeah.
didn't he dislocate his hand?
something
and he
like
knocked him out
that,
with it?
yeah. But I don't know. It was just fucking.
It
A
was
lot of people are saying he's finished. What do you think, Dylan? What's your perspective?
I don't know. Like, I mean, you're only as good as your last fight, really, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? But he could. I mean, I think the dog in him or the drive in him is gone, and it would be, wouldn't it? I mean, 180 million last year.
I don't think that, lads.
You serious?
Yeah, like why would he go back?
Just the love of competing, but I don't think the love he has for competing now is the love that he had when he was chasing belts.
Ah, well,
do
no,
you know
I
what?
agree with that.
I think you're spot on, but I would say it's the love for competing is completely opposite to the hunger he has to achieve
yeah.
because he's already achieved.
Yeah.
So now he's just doing it for fun because he enjoys it and he loves it.
Yeah.
Whereas that drive, like you'd mentioned, to be a world champion again, which I do think he definitely wants to be a world champion again. And
Do
funnily
you think
enough,
he will?
Well, here's the kicker. Like Dana White has come out after and said Poirier's going to go fight for the world title, and then when Conor's healthy, we're going to do the rematch.
And Dustin said it as well.
yeah, so like potentially Connor's next fight is for the world title.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I-
If
I-
Poirier beats Oliveira,
No. He'll have to come back and fight
No, he
someone
won't.
I don't
first.
think
No,
he
he
will.
won't.
I don't think he will at all.
No,
I think
he'll-
he's such a big draw and such a big name. They'll push him straight away for that.
they will.
The deck is stacked for him.
Who,
It's stacked for him.
who else can you put in there
Put that
against
mic
Connor?
closer to you, yeah? Closer
Who
to
else
him,
can
yeah.
you put in there to fight Connor that is going to sell pay-per-view? Now, granted, Connor
I
sells
think
pay-per-views on his
Dylan
own.
hit the nail on the head saying Ferguson. That'd be a good fight.
Yeah, Ferguson would be a good fight, but Ferguson's
and it's a
also...
warm-up fight. Yeah, it's dangerous as well, though.
No, Ferguson's on a 4-fight losing streak or something like
It
that
doesn't
as well.
matter. It doesn't matter.
And
It wa-
Ferguson takes a lot of damage.
I don't think McGregor wins that fight either.
But
Oh,
that-
no,
this,
he
this
does.
is what I'm saying.
McGregor
Now
win.
he does. Now he
You
does.
serious?
Yeah.
Because of what
3 or
happened.
4 years ago, maybe not. Like around the time when Khabib, like if Conor fought Ferguson before Conor fought Khabib, I'd say I would have fancied Ferguson.
I just think McGregor has a problem with anyone who's durable. Do you know what I mean?
Ferguson's
And-
not as durable anymore. He
but
takes
he goes the distance every time, does he not?
fair point. Yeah, well
And he would be durable there.
But he takes a lot of damage in a fight, and Connor hits very, very hard.
Come here, is
Come
that-
here,
is
man.
that
We
echoes on your
fucking-
mics.
No, it's because basically Martin needs to.
Yeah, all right. No, just making
Martin's
sure.
mic is picking up some of our audio.
Okay,
It's grand. We just want to make sure Martin's heard. Martin, speaking of yourself,
Yep.
Jay rang you for the fight. Did you not wake up for it?
He rang me and I put him on silent because I was shattered.
Stupid. Like he's like, I'll ring
So,
you. Wake
so
me up,
you
normally
woke up.
fight.
You woke up. You didn't watch it live.
No, I didn't watch it live. I still haven't seen it.
Oh really?
Yeah, me dodgy box has an
He's
update.
there,
Yeah.
he's there hitting me with bleeding stats and facts on the way down the car, and I was like, yeah, and he's like, yeah, I didn't watch it.
That's what I was saying. I was asking him his opinion because I hadn't watched it.
Yeah.
And just kind of getting his vibe off, like against what people were saying online, and he
Again.
had seen it, you know.
Like I said, Poirier won the first round,
Yeah.
clearly, but
Never mind.
I-
Never
I-
mind that. You know who took the most damage that night? I've seen lately. In the
What a
UFC?
fight.
Your man that fought O'Malley.
Yeah, what a fight! What a fucking! And I'm
Seriously.
delighted because he said in embedded that he's getting fight tonight. No matter what, he's getting fight tonight,
And he got
and
it.
he got it.
Yeah.
What? Oh my! I was devastated. I was snapping. I was in the height of it, wasn't I?
That was a
Bullshit
strike
decision.
record, I think.
yeah,
Yeah, it was, yeah.
in that division, yeah.
Yeah, I was devastated for him. When I went on Twitter and all the next day, everyone was saying, "No, it was the right decision." It wasn't. It's bollocks. He was 20 seconds out.
Yeah.
20 seconds.
Give
from
it to him.
Yeah.
And he wasn't like before the ref called it. He had backed off, fucking a good bit from him. So it wasn't like he was gonna get hit straight again.
And he wasn't out on his feet either.
No,
he was still there.
exactly. I was fucking devastated for him. Like they should have let it go the distance. But
He deserved to see the bell.
Jay, what did you
100%.
make of the? So we obviously done a watch along. For those who don't know, what did you make of the watch along?
I enjoyed it. It was different. It was new. Bit of crack, bit of food. I was completely pissed anyway.
Yeah,
so.
you were pissed. Yeah. He wouldn't get off his phone, wouldn't he? Not, folks. I'm only joking. Private joke.
And Snapchat was
Um,
hopping. That's why all them nudes.
Facts. Instagram, wasn't it?
Yeah, actually, it was Instagram.
But now look, we said we give it a bash, and being honest, I did enjoy doing it, but I am too into the big fights and the big events to be entertaining people. I'm too into it. Like you see me, I just went silent then. I was too focused on it. I like chilling at home and watching it and being like, it's like a big match. Like I hate going out for Champions League finals and all because you never watch it.
Yeah.
You're always talking and drinking. I like being focused on the
Yeah,
events.
I
Like, do you know
like
what I mean?
hearing the commentary and stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all the
So
background stuff.
look, if we ever move to a bigger studio, maybe we can get a sofa and we can do it that way next time. I think it'd be more chill. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as it stands, like, it's just not the right environment for it yet.
What did you think of the Euros, the final?
You know what? I was up for England the whole time until they got to the final.
That media is a shambles.
Just because I'm a big fan of all the players being on this pitch. I don't think there's a player on England that I dislike.
Right.
Do you know, I watch them week in, week out. Do you know what I mean? So, like, it's just, like, they're not the problem.
Yeah.
So why should we be betting against them? Do you know what I mean? The players on the pitch aren't the problem, in my opinion. It's the
agree.
fans and the media. So I wanted them to do well, but as soon as it got to the final and I seen all that shit and all again, I'm like, you don't deserve to win it. And again, it's contradicting what I'm kind of saying a little bit, do you know what I mean? But I just got fucking pure pissed off. I was like, we're going to have to deal with this now again, do you know what I mean?
It was like that though throughout the whole tournament. Like you're watching fucking France play Portugal and at half time they're breaking down the England game.
Yeah.
No, that's not the game we're
Yeah,
watching. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? The media is terrible.
What did you make of yourself, Dylan?
Man, you know what? I've never proper been into football. Never been
Really?
into
Oh,
football.
really?
But I tell you what, I was into all the videos. Did you see the videos of the murder after it?
Yeah.
English fans. Man, that's heavy stuff.
I know.
That's heavy stuff.
Did you see the Stewart bleeding heads and volleys he was playing with the people? Did you see that? He was milling people
He
out.
kept hiding behind someone and jumping out and kicking people.
Yeah,
Deadly it was.
It was gas. But there was some fucking disgusting videos. Now, this is where I hate media, right? You see, you muted your mic there, didn't you? I could hear that straight away. I still have to get you that mic, Martin. I keep on forgetting. You could see straight away. No, what am I saying? Right, the media portrayed the videos completely different, I think. So, initially I thought the outfielders were fucking scumbags that were, people were running in the gates and the outfielders were milling them. But then I kind of paid attention to it and I'm like, this is people breaking into the stadiums. These outfielders and people are at the paying for their tickets and maybe they're fearing for the safety of
Do you
their
know
kids
that was
and
the
stuff.
family section they broke into?
Well, there you
The
go.
players' families.
So it makes more sense now that the outfielders were.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, see, there you go. The media don't portray it in the right way. Do you know what I mean? So, if
The
my
biggest
kids,
wanker on Talksport was the only one to actually cover that and acknowledge that today on on Talksport. He basically came out and he said that, you know, the media were making it out like these like fucking hooligans or whatever targeted the players' families. Whereas a complete coincidence that the area that they broke into just happened to be the seating area of the players' families.
right,
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, like the
But like you
narrative was
would,
completely
you'd be
different.
scared if you're a parent. You know what I mean? You have all these cunts breaking in. So I kind of look. I still don't justify a fucking 50-year-old man fucking right hooking a bleeding 12-year-old.
Oh,
in the face.
there was kids getting leathered, man. Thrown through the crowd and all. It was-
I know, some unbelievable shots. Some of it was better than the UFC, being honest with you.
yeah.
But again, like that, we didn't understand the context. So I'm after getting real like that, where I'm not judging the situation until I know the facts. Do
What
know
did
I
you
mean?
think of the racism after? Because you knew it was going to come, didn't you?
Look, of course it's gonna come. It like, and it's not just English fans. I don't agree with that. There's a lot of people in the world that do it. England does take it to the next level. Like the boys.
It was weird though, the coincidence that the first two players to score for England were two white players, and then the next three that missed were three black players.
But I hate.
It was inevitable.
I hate bringing on subs to take penalties. I completely disagree with it. I'm like, they're not warm, they're not fucking loose. Do you know what I mean? I just don't agree with it.
And two subs that hadn't even played throughout the tournament.
That's what I'm saying.
Jadon Sancho got a few
Sancho
minutes.
got
Played a
like
little
40
bit.
minutes, and then
Yeah.
Rashford got like, yeah, probably like.
Now, in
20,
fairness,
30 minutes.
Rashford is known for taking penalties. Like he's very
But
good.
again, he hasn't played the tournament.
Exactly, and not only has he not played the tournament, it's in a
injured.
it's in a final.
Yeah, but he has been injured as well. He's there on injury. Like he literally left that tournament to go get
Yeah,
surgery.
so
today.
it's like, I think that was bad on Gareth. Like, why did Jack Grealish not take a penalty?
He said he would take one, but it was harsh on
seen
Saka, I thought, making him go last.
The last one, yeah, I agree. He's only 19.
He's never taken a penalty as a senior player in his life, and he made to take fifth.
Yeah, see,
in
I
the
didn't
Euro
know that
final at
either.
home.
Do you know what I mean? So,
That's just a bad decision from the manager. There's no way around that.
Especially after Rashford and Sancho, who are more experienced players, go up and take one.
Like
and
Rashford
miss.
at PSG that time.
but you can't.
No, but
mid penalty say no,
you-
you're not taking one now. They've already decided the
I
fight.
think you kind of have to do something though at that point. It's like,
no,
we need,
'cause, like,
hold on.
then you're
Jordan
under
Pickford
minding
goes
them.
up and, yeah, granted, but it's for the sake of the team. Jordan Pickford literally saves the next penalty, which leaves
Right.
England
They did.
a chance to take it to sudden death.
Yeah, but listen to this, right? You're saying you think you have to do that,
I
right?
think you have to make some
Okay,
decisions.
no, right. So let's say he does do that. Saka off the penalty, right? Grealish, you're on it. After agreeing, Saka will do it, and then Grealish misses.
Yeah, it's the nature of the beast, though, isn't it? But
This
like,
is what I'm saying. Like,
but like Martin said, you're a 19-year-old who's never taken a penalty.
he should have never been put on in the first place, in my opinion.
Agreed. I
But
agree.
huge admiration for the boys stepping up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it is a dream. Like, it's one of the biggest fucking cups in the world. Like, you know, it is a dream to score. So they're obviously buzzing and excited to try and score in the final. So, but
Yeah,
look, I think Italy overall deserved to win it. I think they were good throughout the tournament, and that defence is just silly. It's just silly. The two boys are about 58 years of age, and are still running the show.
Giorgio Chiellini was my favourite player in the whole tournament.
Yeah,
he
he
was
was quality.
just batshit crazy.
And you know what? I agree with Jose Mourinho about Walker. Walker is just a different breed.
I say that to me all the time. If you
Yeah.
ever just watch Walker playing the matches, balls over the top,
So
I never see
consistent.
anybody get past him.
Yeah.
He's just dominant.
He's one of the most consistent players I think I've ever seen.
It's mad at the start, like before they went into the Euros, there was a big conversation about like the right backs that they were going to bring. So it was Wan-Bissaka, Walker, Trippier, and there was someone else, Martin. Do you know?
Wan-Bissaka, Walker, Trippier,
The right back.
Reece James,
and
Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, and Trent, right? And so like you've all that, and yeah, Kyle Walker completely made me forget about every single one of them. He was that good.
But he was playing centre back.
Who?
Kyle Walker.
He was playing right side.
Yeah, on the back three.
Did he not play wing back?
No.
No,
Who played wing back?
Right centre half.
He
did play
no,
right
no,
centre, didn't he?
Trippier played right back.
He fucking did as well. Actually,
Yeah.
he set the goal up. Well, yeah.
Anyway, Dylan, how's things, bud?
Oh, good. you know when people are having a conversation about something you know and fuck all about, and you're literally just like, yep.
I've been here a million times on this.
You're just like, yeah, this is a nice room.
So, Dylan, I suppose we'll jump into yourself now, right? Since you are the guest and all that, I think it's the least we can do.
Jump in.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Dylan. Why did we get you on the podcast? What are you involved in?
So I'd be involved in fuck all, really. But, you know, be involved in mental health. I was off social media for years.
Right.
So I was off social media for about 5 or 6 years just because I thought it was the worst place to go to.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And I was working in sales for a good while, working in sales for years, and I decided to leave sales because I was like, I'm not doing this for the rest of my life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, put that mic in front of you, bud, will you?
No worries.
There you go, yeah.
So I decided, because I was always into psychology,
Right.
always kind of flat out with like just kind of researching my own things and studying my own things. So I was like, that's where I want to see my career. That's where I want to end up sometime or someday. So I decided to just get into college and do that. Been there now ever since. Have 2 years left of a bachelor's degree now to get finished, because I done a level 5 to see if I liked it.
Right.
Loved it, fell in love with it, and then I'm in NCI now doing it. So I have 2 years left there. And the reason I started the videos was actually Alan Bourne would know this young lad up in Crumlin there 3 months ago. A young lad committed suicide, and we all knew him. We all knew the young lad, and that was kind of the thing that pushed me into doing it.
Right.
Because there's so many young people out there now, fucking between the likes of 13 up until my age, or even up until 30s and 40s and all that.
100%.
And I don't know what it is, man. They're just afraid to talk about anything. Do you know what I mean? If they have a cold or they have a headache, they'll burn the ears off you about that. But if they're going through something mentally, they won't fucking say a word.
Yeah. Do you think it's getting better, though?
I think it is getting better. Yeah, I think it is getting better. You know what? I've heard an awful lot of people turning around and saying that, and I don't agree with it now. I'm wondering what you think. An awful lot of people turning around saying now it's popular to be suffering mentally. Do you know what I mean?
Sorry,
Can I take on that
yeah,
one?
you go ahead, yeah.
I see where you're coming with that. So I had this thing, right? This was just a thought I had to myself, and I remember, and I'm gonna say, remember we done the Lads Take Care episode, and you had asked me a question, and you were like, Jay, you're mental health type of thing.
Yeah.
And I gave an answer to give an answer because I wasn't prepared for the question.
I caught you off guard.
You did, yeah. You caught me off guard, the cunt, right? But
Purposely, by the way,
Yeah.
because I wanted to challenge him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, after thinking about it, I thought I gave him an answer just to give him an answer. Like I don't like. Trust me, like every day, not every day, but you go through shit in life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But after thinking about it, I was like, not every bad day means I have mental health.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
bad mental health. I can't say I've had of all these issues just because I'm having a bad day. I'm actually not. My mental health is perfectly fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was my thing on it. It was like with mental health being popular, but my outlook was it's not. Like it's like I don't have mental health. I'm just having a bad day.
Yeah.
That's the way I looked at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I get you.
I agree with that narrative, what you said. I think now, and it's down two things, right? And I know this for a fact because I've witnessed both sides of it.
Go on.
Right? So I'm a very strong advocate for mental health. I deal with it all the time myself. I wouldn't be 100% mentally stable, 1,000,000%. Especially the last couple of weeks, I've gone through loads of shit. I had horrible thoughts, and I'm the person on this podcast that pushes this message, tells people to talk, and I was struggling. Do you know what I mean? But I've also seen people try to take advantage of people in the situation by, let's say, for example, bringing them on a podcast when they know nothing about it. They're not trying to highlight it; they're getting it because it's popular.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Not only that, I've seen people try to make videos with people that are suffering with mental health just to get the views up.
That's 100%.
Do you know what I mean?
That's dead right.
So I think people like that need to really question themselves, and I've pulled a few people on it because I've been asked to video, I've been asked to do a few bits of bobs about it. So I've pulled them on it straight away. It's something I'm very passionate about, and I don't think should be used in that light at all. So I got really pissed off at these people about this, because that's what stops the likes of Jay to talk about it. Because they're like, people are going to think I'm only saying it to feel sorry for me or because it's popular right now. And they're the type of people that are preventing the people from talking. So that's why I have huge respect for someone like yourself, Dylan, because you came out and done it knowing that people are going to think you're crying out for attention, or that you're just doing it for the viewers. Like, it is the popular topic. It has been a popular topic for ages. Look at Tyson Fury. He's as popular as he is now, half because of its story.
Definitely, 100%.
But what people that aren't suffering with mental health and don't fully understand it, they don't understand the real reason why it's so popular. It's because everyone can relate to it.
Yeah.
It's so true. Everything he says, people that are going through that completely understand word for word what he's saying, and they relate to it. That's the real reason why it's popular. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I do think people are using it for the wrong reasons, and they have been for a while. And you get some people, like, what really bugs me, Dylan, and I think, look, I'd say everyone has done it. I've never done it personally, but I know a lot of people, and there is something wrong with it. But I don't think people really think about it in the moment. People ringing up work sick saying, look, fucking mentally not there, and they're just looking for the day off.
Oh, I've been asked, like, I've been, like, you know, going through them little ruts in fucking work and all that. Oh, God, I don't want to go into work tomorrow now. And I've been told that, just go and, like, say, oh, you fucking mentally you're not right and all, just go on to sick for a few days and all.
This is what I'm saying. It's so easy to do.
It's been said to me by several people, where I was like, I wouldn't have the balls to go into work and say that.
It's so easy to do that, and this is coming from a sales background, right? So I was working in retentions. So do you, any of you have Sky or anything like that in your house?
Yeah.
So,
I know what. Yeah. Sorry. Go explain it to people that don't know.
Do you ever ring up to cancel anything?
Yeah.
You'd be talking to me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Worst job in the fucking world.
Yeah.
Right?
They're trying to persuade me to stay.
Man.
Mate, I'm cancelling. Fuck off.
Fucking horrible. Like, I mean, people are going to another provider that's offering them like 50% off, and you're like, yeah, but listen, I can give you a tenner off, mate.
Yeah.
Take it.
Yeah. And the rest in jellies.
Yeah. But like, when you're in that sort of environment, you're working flat out all day long, and all you're getting is shit in your ear.
Yeah.
That's all you're getting. And I'll always remember when I was there. I was there for about 2.5 years, and about a year and a half into it, I was having a fucking screamer of a day, right? And I went up to my team leader at the time, and I turned around and I goes, "Here, I'm having a fucking meltdown here." I was like, "This is the worst day of my life." I was like, I need to take an hour off the fucking phones here for a minute, because my head is like bleeding scrambled egg." And he turns around to me and he goes, "Yeah, but like," he goes, "jump back on the phones there and take your mind off it." I goes, that's where I'm at. They're coming from.
Yeah.
So you're telling me to jump out of the fucking fire and jump into the oven?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's so easy when you're in that sort of environment or work in general to say, "Oh, look, I'm not going to be in tomorrow." Why not? "Oh, I'm not feeling well mentally." And you see it in people's faces. They're like, "Oh, all right, no problem. And they'll just avoid the topic. And they'll be like, take as long as you need.
Yeah.
But if you turn around and say, "Oh, I'm physically sick," they'll be like, "Right, I want the doctors now."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's so easy. And I think it is so easy because
People are just afraid to question it.
that's what it is. People are afraid to talk about it and question it. And I think it kind of comes down to, ever since I started doing the videos, right, people kind of have this perception of me that I'm this real, like a deep thinker. I wouldn't be able to have any crack, or I wouldn't be able to wind people up. I'm a slagging cunt, and I like to wind people up, and I don't like the idea that people would think, "Oh, well, right, because he talks about sensitive topics,
You can't have a laugh.
Yeah, and
There's no sense of humour.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And like one person actually even said that to me directly, and I was like, "That's like further from the truth. Come out on the hikes and you'll see what I'm like."
Look,
do you know what I mean? Like, so
I was actually with Soulful and Sassy before this episode, and you'd done a podcast with them, and they had nothing but good things to say about you, and that's what they said. They were laughing from start to finish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I completely understand why people would think that, because you cover sensitive things. But well, you should start documenting the other side of it as well. Do you know what I mean?
That's one thing I kind of wanted to start doing, because I was actually talking to the two girls about this. Like, God forbid you can treat mental health or kind of mental illness with a bit of humour.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly,
It doesn't like you approach kids so they can talk about their mental health, and you try and make it like appealing to them. It's not going to be appealing to them if it's like dark and deep and depressing topics all the time. Has to be a bit lighthearted. Do you know what I mean? Just make make a joke out of it, because fucking none of us are fucking doing well sometimes. You know what I mean? And you have to have a bit of crack with it.
Yeah.
Did you ever go through anything specific yourself in order to make you get to this?
Yeah, man, 100%. Like I grew up. I done one of the videos about it, and I like remember you were saying there, like, fair play to for coming out and knowing that people are gonna think he's looking for attention. I could give a fuck.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I just don't care. People are gonna talk regardless. But I grew up with, when I was born, I was with me in between houses with my mum and my dad. right? But my ma basically left a letter one day on a doorstep with me saying that she didn't want me anymore, right? And this is when I was,
fuck.
this is when I was a couple of months old, right? So it didn't have like an effect then. You were only a kid. But then when I was about 5 or 6, I'd say, like I was living with my dad full time then. And when I was about 5 or 6, she kind of got back in touch and wanted to see me again, wanted to rekindle some sort of mother-son relationship.
Okay.
So I was back and forth, and I kind of would have visits with her every week or every second week. Like I wish I had those visits every week, because I remember I used to be standing in my garden every week with my bag on, waiting for her to come and collect me. And she was always that type. She'd be like, "Yeah, I'll be down." And obviously, you don't know any better because you're a kid.
Of course,
So
yeah.
you're just excited to see a parent.
Yeah.
So I'd be standing there and I'd be looking at every car that went by. She didn't drive, so I'd be looking for taxis.
Right.
So I'd hear the car coming up the road and I'd run up to the garden, walk back disappointed, run up to the end of the garden, walk back disappointed, because it was never her. She'd show up the odd time, and then when I went out the odd time, there was abuse, there was mental abuse, there was verbal abuse. And weirdly enough, with all the abuse, it was the verbal abuse that lasted with me more, because any kind of scars or bruising, that goes. Do you get me? But what you're told will stick with you.
Can't take that back, like.
Yeah. So what you're told about yourself will stick with you. And so that kind of, it didn't have an effect on me directly then, but it got to a stage then when I was kind of 13, 14, 15, because I didn't even tell my dad about any sort of abuse that I was getting in the house with her. Do you get me? So I kind of just pushed it down. But when I got to about 13 or 14, and when you're kind of coming out of the home and you're developing social relationships with friends, and girls are in the picture then as well, I started realising that I fucking hated women. Absolutely hated it. Like, so I'd make sure if I got into a relationship or I was texting a girl or seeing a girl at like 14, 15, 16, I'd get everything I could get from her, and then I'd get rid of her before she'd done the same to me.
Right.
Because I'd be thinking to myself, if your ma can do that, anyone can do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I went through a good bit of that, and to be fair with you, I couldn't even count on my two hands how many people that are away from me now that I didn't deserve to have in my life, that I just kind of butchered, like relationships that I ruined and all. So yeah, that kind of led me to that.
Fucking hell, man.
Yes. First of all, Dylan, very sorry to hear that.
Don't worry about it.
Like, my mother and father broke up at a young age, similar to Jay as well. Like, we both had similar circumstances as yourself. So hearing you saying that, I got a bit emotional there, because I went through similar shit. Now, my dad wasn't like, he did come and pick us up, but like that, the odd time he'd be late, and that thing that you were saying, excited running. But then even when I was with him, I didn't enjoy it. Like, he brought me back to the gaff and turned on horse race and let me sit in there, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when he lived with me, there was physical abuse as well, do you know what I mean? And when you have big brother and a mother there, and no one's kind of protecting you, like, well, fucked a lot of you. So me and my family aren't really close over all that shit, even now till this day. Like, what's your relationship like now with your mother?
It's non-existent. Like, the way I look at it is, right, you need a connection, and you need a deep relationship with your parents when you're developing. When you're fully developed and that relationship was non-existent for your whole childhood, if I was to meet up with my mother now, I'd be meeting a stranger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, I'm at the stage now in my life, like, I'm only 26.
Right.
Now, I'm at the stage now in my life where I understand all you have to do is walk out the door, open your eyes, and you'll see loads of single mothers that I'll just be like flat out honest with it, aren't fit to be mothers.
Yeah.
Like, they shouldn't have, and I understand
Vice
that.
versa with fathers as well.
Yeah, actually, yeah, if you let me stress
Just
that.
saving you.
Yeah. There's parents out there that aren't fit, and I know obviously there's accidental pregnancies and all that, but like some people just aren't fit.
Yeah, I agree.
And my mother was one of them.
Right.
And she had her own problems, her own demons, and she was an addict.
That's what I was gonna touch on next, like, because later in life, I went counselling to try figure out what's the cause of all these fucking issues. I was angry all the time.
Yeah.
There were certain scenarios where I was questioning myself, and like that was I never ever put a title on me being depressed. I have anxiety and mental health. I never put a title on it. I just thought it was fucked up. Do you know what I mean? I never got diagnosed with that because I never went about it. But when I went counselling, basically my counsellor put it all down to my childhood, you know? And he was thinking, like, he wasn't justifying anything my father done or what we went through and things like that. But he said, look, where was your father? And I was thinking then, obviously the later we progress in life, the more we think and the more we understand. So I was thinking, my dad lost his mother at, like, around when I was a kid. That would have been tough. He lost his brother around the same time. I'm thinking, it doesn't justify what he done, but that's probably where a lot of it came from.
Yeah.
So I obviously looked back at all that and thought about, look, imagine that was me. How would I feel if my ma died? What reaction would I have if my brother died? How would I be feeling? And I would be angry. again, I'm not justifying what my father done, but it made me a lot more understanding, and it led me to give me dad a second chance and to sit down and have a conversation with him about these things and
Right.
why he done what he done. And my dad's a completely different man now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Which
yeah.
is, I'm not saying that like that would be the case for yourself and your mother, but honestly, Dylan, and I want to be very, I want to make sure I'm very clear here.
Yeah, 100%.
Never close the door.
Mm-hmm.
Never close the door. You only have one mother. I understand you has probably been through so much shit,
Yeah.
but you only have one mother. And I'm not saying she might not give a shit still. She might not regret it, but never close the door. Always be open.
100%.
Because if something ever happens, you'll probably question yourself, and you never want to live with that.
See, this is the thing as well, and like all the only knowledge I have of my mother now is through. I'm not even on Facebook now. It was from like say last year on Facebook,
Okay.
and my mother, similar to your dad,
Yeah.
has like is different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like she has, I think our youngest kid now is like 2 or
Right.
3, so she obviously has kind of turned her life around a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So I credit her for that, and I've forgiven her
Right.
for anything that she has done.
Okay.
But just
Haven't forgotten.
it's you know what?
Do
it's
you
not
feel
even-
like she should be making the effort, not you?
Not at all. I don't think she has any. She has no need to make any sort of effort at all. Do you know what I mean? I don't feel she does anyway. The way I look at it is, I can look myself in the mirror and be happy with who I am now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm not kind of, and this is no disrespect to anyone who might not feel that way.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm not.
Everyone's different.
Yeah, but I'm currently now at the minute I'm not chasing anything. I'm comfortable in my skin and comfortable like in who I am. And like I said, I've forgiven her for what she's done. But it's just I don't feel any sort of need to. I don't have any questions to ask her.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I have any need to rekindle anything, or
You don't
Yeah.
need closure for anything.
I don't need closure for anything. I'm completely aware that she made the decision she made, and unfortunately some of them are wrong, but I know that doesn't define her as a person,
Yes.
because we're all on a journey at the end of the day.
Exactly.
And who's to say down the line I won't make, like I make mistakes.
Yeah, of course.
Do you
we
know
all
what I
do.
mean? So
And would, like, if she did reach out, would you be open to that?
if she reached out, I'd be friendly and I'd be cordial and I'd have a conversation and all that.
Yeah.
But as far as kind of trying to reignite a relationship and begin a relationship, no. And that's not a no coming from a bad place.
No, but that's a no coming from now. If you were to, let's say if your man was to reach out and you ended up, I don't know, going for a coffee the odd time, it might change. Just your current state,
Yeah.
you're like, no, I don't need this. And I completely understand where you're coming from, by the way. I don't knock you. I'm not saying you, like, I'm not disagreeing with that just because what I said is
Yeah,
never
of course,
close the
yeah.
book. I didn't mean that in that sense from it. But, like, things change.
100%, yeah.
You
yeah.
change, she changes. You might end up going for a coffee with her and hate her more. Do you
See,
know
this-
what I mean?
Yeah, like I mean that's like you said there. I'm saying no now.
Yeah,
Do you know
exactly.
what I mean? But who's to say? Like when I walk out this door, this time tomorrow,
Yeah.
it could be different. This time next year,
And
so-
that's all I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Just by knowing you a few minutes, I'm just begging you never close the door. And you seem like you're already there where, you know what I mean?
I'm comfortable now, but
Yeah.
again, like you said, things
Yeah.
change. And you know what the shy thing is about it. When you start kind of, and you seem that like you have a knowledge of it as well. When
Yeah.
you start kind of understanding psychology, or you're self aware, or you're just aware of how people behave, it makes it really fucking hard to hold a grudge.
Yeah,
And
it
you
does.
can kind of you can put yourself into everyone's position, and it makes you just you're far less angry. You just
But
can't get angry with people.
As well as that, I've noticed recently, Dylan, you can end up the other side of it. But being the nice guy isn't always a good thing either. People
No.
can take advantage of it. So
Yeah.
this is where you need to draw the line, and you need to know. And this is why I'd never judge you if you never wanted to cross that line, because I've been on both sides of it, and I know that some things just aren't meant to be.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Some relationships just are meant to go the other way. Do you know what I mean? But fair dues to you for opening up about that first
course,
of all, and obviously having an open mind, because I can see where you are, and it's a nice place to be. You're content with yourself. You know where you stand. You love yourself as a person. I'm actually striving to get to where you are now. That's the kind of process I'm in now. But yeah, you can probably touch on it a little bit with your situation, because I know you have. You know, your situation would be similar. You could relate to a lot to what we're saying as well.
It's similar in the sense that, like you were saying, you know, obviously your relationship with your mother was non-existent. I wouldn't say my relationship with my father was non-existent. It was pretty much existent.
I didn't mean it in that way either. I'm just saying in a sense, like,
No,
you know where we're
I know.
coming
I'm just
from,
trying to cover tracks
Yeah.
here. No, I had a relationship. I have a relationship with my father. It's just he lived in a different country. So in that sense, there wasn't standing at the wall and waiting for him to turn up. I knew what I was getting, and I'd see him probably 5-6 times a year up until I was God, what age would I be? Probably would have been after my brother Jordan was born, so probably like 7 or 8. And then it came 3 times a year. And then when I got to a teenager, it stopped completely. But I always look back at it like the thing with my dad, like I'm not having that relationship. We actually only had this conversation the other night before I came here for the watch along. My uncle was talking to me about my dad and football as a kid, and because my dad played football at such a high
you were
level.
telling me, yeah.
If he was here pushing me type of thing or whatever, like you wonder how it turned out or whatever. I wouldn't have went anywhere, but anyway, yeah, I always kind of looked at like what way would my life be if I did have him here. So that's the only thing that ever got me.
Yeah,
it was like, right, well, he's not here, so like how would I have turned out? Probably could have turned out worse, probably could have turned out better. I don't know, but I and that affected me a lot from 13 till 21. Like it boiled my piss, it did. Like my 2 brothers in England, he's married and he's 2 kids in England, and I'm like, why the fuck wasn't I not good enough? You couldn't stay here.
That's actually what I wanted to ask you, Jay. I don't mean to interrupt your story, but I'm very curious. I think we all go through that as well with, I wonder how different my life would be if my mum was still in my life, if my dad was around more. Because I used to think that as well, Jay. I only started working properly the last fucking 4 years. I felt like a waste at all before that, and I was thinking, my dad lived with me, he would have put me on the straight and narrow, I feel. But you don't know these things, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But what I had to ask you, Jay, because I've always wondered, obviously with us being single now, like we have potential to meet new partners and have new families and stuff.
What the smile is hazy.
No, it's a daunting experience.
What I want to ask you is, you said there, why weren't you good enough? How did it affect you as a kid when, your father left for his own reasons and he started a new family? Like, how did that feel for you, knowing that, he's over there living with your brother? Like you said, like, why isn't he living at home with me? Like, what was that like growing up?
At the start, I didn't have a clue. It's the same way my daughter is now with her man, her boyfriends, you know what I mean? The situation that they're in, my daughter hasn't a clue that they're in a relationship.
Yeah. So
I was the exact same. So like I remember, like I think of my dad after my dad's wedding, I turned around to him and I was like, so when you coming home to live with me and my mum?
Yeah, you told me.
I hadn't.
And you didn't mean any disrespect to his.
No, I love me stepmother to bits, but yeah, that was just the thing. Like, so not knowing about it at all until I got to an understanding age, and then like. I don't know if it was jealousy. It wasn't jealousy because I love me.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's
no, but I don't think it was. I'd tell you if it was, but I don't feel like it was because I still had that love for my brothers. But it always raised questions. I was like, "You're happy there."
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Was it resentment?
I'd say it was jealousy, Jay, but not the bad type of jealousy.
I don't know.
There's a good type of jealousy.
No, like as in you don't mean it from a bad place. Like you're happy.
I'm jealous what they have.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I suppose you can.
And that's completely fine. I think everyone in that situation would be.
You're jealous of something every day.
Yeah,
of course.
Day jealous of something.
And that was it. Like I was jealous of that, and I was like, why couldn't I have ever got that?
Yeah,
And granted, let's say it never worked out between him and me ma, but he could have been here. I could have been in his life all the time.
Yeah.
So that was one of my questions. And he told me basically, like I seeked questions year in and year out, and he just wouldn't give me them, and that caused resentment, and that caused anger, and I was like, well, fuck you, I'm not talking to you.
But you did say he said he was going to give you the questions once you were old enough to hear the true answers. Basically,
that was the thing. He basically sat me down and he was like, he says, look, I'll tell you when you're 21, and then you can make your own mind up. I was like, fucking tell me now, type of thing. But when he waited till I was 21 and he told me everything, I was like,
you understood.
Fucking like, of course, because the answers he told me, he basically said, if I could have told you this stuff at 16, you would have made a premature decision, not understanding, and we wouldn't be here today.
I was going to say that. Would you have been like, of course, at 16?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So
that's the frustrating bit as well, because at 16 and 17, you're probably like, oh, I'm fucking old enough now to know. Just fucking tell me.
Yeah, whereas I know I wouldn't have.
Yeah,
I know the answer. I know I would have reacted different.
Yeah.
Whereas when he told me that at 21, I appreciated it so much, and I was like, we're good forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just will be, and we're literally like best mates. Like we talk like best mates, and so I respect that about him. it hurt him to hold shit in for so long.
100%.
And it hurt me to not get answers for so long. But when I got it, I could see it in his face as well when he was talking to me. And like, I'll never forget, I can still picture his face now, like when he was talking to me. And to this day still, I hold so much respect for him for that alone.
Yeah.
It doesn't make
because it would have been
right.
very hard for him to wait that long as well.
100%.
Yeah,
trying to
like,
justify himself.
It doesn't make things right in between the lost time and stuff like that. None of
Yeah.
that will ever be like obviously repaired.
Yeah.
But we build on it now. So so me and my dad are good. But yeah, like as a child growing up, similar to your situation, you know, I was just I got to a point where
it's
I
good
didn't care.
for everyone to kind of resignate and know where everyone stands. Martin, I've actually been dying to come over to you because your situation was a little bit different. So, like, after you hearing all of our stories, what's your kind of, like, are you more appreciative of kind of everything you've had, or what's your kind of stance on what we've been saying?
Well, to be honest with you, it's an odd thing to think, but out of the four of us here, like 75% of us have come from relationships where our parents have split apart, you know what I mean? And I just kind of think of on a broader scale, are them numbers reflective of what goes on outside, you know? Because if it is, then it's crazy, really, you know? Marriage and things like that, what you could take from that alone is it's a difficult thing. It's a hard thing to really manage and keep up. So, yeah, I do feel good that my man and dad did, because it wasn't always smooth or easy for them.
Yeah.
Of course not.
Everyone has their issues.
Of course, yeah. And like there was a lot of trouble with my brother when he was around my age, and my man and dad had to deal with all of that. And then I had my own trouble as well that they had to deal with. And I was kind of they always used to call me golden balls because I was the youngest, you know what I mean? And like I felt like that was always kind of up to me then to go and do something. But then I started kind of fucking up a little bit as well. So I felt really bad putting my man and dad through that, knowing they had already been through that with my brother. So like knowing that you're putting that kind of stress on something that's already so difficult, you do feel bad about that. But it also gives you a kind of real appreciation that they did stick it out. And yeah, when you think about how many friends you have that come from relationships that fell apart and stuff, or broke up for whatever reason, you do really appreciate that your man made it through it. Yeah.
I have a question for you. Have you taken anything from your man and dad's relationship that you could kind of bring towards yourself with your own fiance?
To better yourself, is that what you mean? Like,
yeah, basically, is there something that you look at from them, how they raised you and your brother and your sister and stuff, and you've looked at it and you know you want to kind of emulate that with your own fiance and Toig, your son? Not
in a bad way, but I kind of learn more to do nuts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah, like
I think we all take the good and the bad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just tend to remember the bad more
That's
because
it,
they're the things that we need to make sure. Like the good, you're like, yeah, I will be like that. But the bad, you're like, I'm definitely not gonna be like that. So it is a stronger feeling. Do you know what I mean? So I think everyone learns from their mother and father, and I think. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. You're nearly guaranteed. I'd say there's a higher percentage of people that end up better than their parents than not.
I think, like, you know what, I'm not sure if this was an actual proper study that was done, but you see it all over the place. You see, let's say, for example, a quote-unquote happy family.
Yeah.
Right? We'll say, like, the dad in the house is an alcoholic, right? And it's visible. The kids know he's an alcoholic. The wife knows he's an alcoholic. And you'll see the two sons growing up. One of them will become an alcoholic and one of them will be completely against drink.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's two people in the same scenario, viewing the same thing, but get two completely different things from it. Do you know
of
what
course,
I mean?
yeah.
Do you know that sort of
But
way? So.
what do you think? Like, I'd love to know what that's down to, because realistically, they should be the same person, grown up in the same household.
It comes down to the nature and nurture to be. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So you have people thinking that.
But
like,
do you not think it includes a circle of friends that they surround themselves with?
See that this is the thing. So like, if that was the case, then you'd be looking at saying nurture, right? Because you go out into society then, and you're choosing who you mix with. You're choosing who's nurturing your mind, nurturing your ideas.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But then also at the same time, let's say for example, them two brothers had the same kind of friend group.
Yeah.
Right. Which you probably see all around the world. I'm not going to go quoting anything. 'Cause I don't know. But they still make completely different decisions. Does that mean then that one brother was just biologically inclined to be that way and to go down that route?
See, I don't believe that. I think you are who, like a lot of people disagree with me, but I think you are who your parents bring you up to be. So, Like, perfect example, my oldest brother definitely got a lot more love than us, which is understandable. Because he's the first, everything is appreciated more. I'm the second last out of 5 kids, so I'm the little forgotten about child as well as my sister. Do you know? But you are. It's just like even with my daughter, like simple things like taking pictures. I don't have near as many pictures of my daughter when she was younger than I do my son, because it was taking it all in at the start, and then you're kind of getting tired, and you're like, oh, do you know what I mean? And loads of things come into play. You do love them both the same, but they definitely do have different upbringings.
But what about this, right? And this. Just an example.
Yeah.
So a young lad in the 70s over in America, right, was brought up in a perfect family,
Yeah.
right? A mother and father in the house, looked after very well, was never even given out as a kid, right? Babied when he was a baby, and then his development was absolutely healthy. His friend group was healthy. There was absolutely nothing wrong with him, right?
Turns out to be a skilled shooter.
That fella was Ted Bundy.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? So he got all the nurture and care that he needed as a kid. All of the nurture and care, and look what he done.
But this is what sorry Jay, I need to say this because I always say this. I always say this. I am fearful, not that my son becomes a shooter,
Right.
but I'm fearful if I was hit as a kid, so I know never to fucking hit my kid. My kid will never be hit. So was he gonna then think, if my son steps out of line, it's all right to hit him because he doesn't understand what it's like to be hit. So we'd never do that. I'm very fearful of that, not just that scenario, loads of scenarios.
Yeah, I get what you mean. But my dad was the same. My dad grew up in like the 50s and 60s. So my dad was going through corporal punishment. You went into school, you got broke up in school for doing something wrong. And if you went home to the parents and ratted the teachers out, the parents would break you up.
Yeah.
He never hit me, right? But he knows people that were in the school with him that got broke up, and they break up their kids.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So again, I don't know.
It's mad, isn't it?
I used to always believe in the nurture side of the nature and nurture the be. But there's so many cases out there where people are just like biologically inclined to be a certain way. Now, I heard a good saying. What was it? Nature aims the gun and nurture pulls the trigger. Do you know what I mean? So what you're biologically inclined to do will aim the gun, and who you choose to be around and the environment you put yourself in, that's what pulls the trigger.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I like that.
You can use that free of charge.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Thanks, I appreciate
Post
that.
on the Instagram, will you?
Clip that, Jay, will you?
Sort of.
So Dylan, tell me, right? You started the page, so let's talk a bit about the page. What's the page called? We Hike is.
Oh, that one. Yeah. So I set that up after I started doing the videos, and it was literally just so I could get people out just doing things. Because obviously with the likes of COVID and all that, you're seeing suicide rates going up, you're seeing depression rates going up in the country, and people are just screaming for something to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But because people were so... People seem to get really introverted during COVID. Do you know what I mean? And I got it as well. Like, I mean, the first time... Yeah, I don't know if you got this right, but have you gone into town since things kind of started getting lifted up?
Yeah.
Were you like shitting yourself walking through town? Because I didn't know where to even look.
I walked through Grafton Street and it's black.
Yeah.
And I was like I felt intimidated.
Rattling,
almost.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it was insane.
Yeah.
But then on the opposite, I walked through it once and there wasn't a sinner. And I was like, this is Dublin City, like, and there's nobody.
Yeah.
It was just weird.
It is weird. I went into town when it was packed and when it was empty. Now I wasn't fearful or that, and I was just a bit. Obviously, you're used to seeing a pack, so I felt a bit normal then. But when it was empty, I was kind of like, "Fucking hell!" You realise how big of a deal it was.
Yeah.
I felt like the apocalypse was coming.
Yeah,
or
it was
something. You know what I
mad.
mean? There's just not a sinner. Like, where is people? And then when people came back, I'm like, oh, can we go back to nobody?
So what's the page about? It's called We Hike, is it?
Yeah, that's
right.
it.
And what's the agenda? Why did you set it up? Where did the idea come from?
So, you know what? This is the funny thing. When we went out on the first hike, people were turning around and they were like, "Oh, you must be hiking bleeding years." And I was like, longest hike I go on is to bleed in the curry shop.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Lambs, is it?
Yeah, good man. That's the longest I'll go
League
on.
on the jacks for about fucking half an hour.
But yeah, no, I set it up initially just to kind of get people out, get people talking. And the weird thing is when we started doing it,
Now you say we.
yeah.
Is that other people involved?
No, it's just myself.
All right.
but I say we just so I don't get any sort of credit, because I feel awkward. See, people say thanks or fair play to you.
Yeah.
I feel real awkward with
You're
that.
saying we as in the people that have joined you along the journey now.
There you
That's
go.
you're including them. You're
The
not.
OGs.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so yeah, I set it up with the intention of just getting people out, getting people active, meeting new people, forming relationships, and just talking if they needed to talk. And the weird thing about it is, ever since we started, nobody's spoken about anything. No one needs to. It's one of them weird
Just
things.
getting your head off it and walking.
Yeah, as cringy as it might sound, when you go up on a hike on a Sunday, it's like you're carrying up a bag full of all the stress that came on you during that week. And it's like then when you're walking back down, just before you turn around to walk back down, you leave the bag up there and you're walking back down into the next week.
Yeah.
And you just feel lighter, you feel better. It's like the lads with their swimming. Do you know what I mean? There's always something out there for everyone. And it was just
They'd be delighted with that shout out now.
there you go. But that's what it was about. It was just getting people out and meeting new people, and it's gone great.
How many walks have you gone on so far?
We done
Under the page, like.
under the page we done 10, and then we done just one separate one for charity.
Right.
The question I had was how many showed up to the first one?
39.
Really?
Fuck.
That's fucking excellent.
Man, I got out of the car.
Have you got that since?
Oh, we've been getting it. Yeah, now the last 2 weeks. Now keep in mind, and you know what? I'll be completely honest as well. I'd be soul destroyed some weeks over the past 2 weeks
Because there's not enough, like.
everything's opening back up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people don't find the need to go to something. So I mean, on the last week we went on, there was like 11.
Yeah, seeing that.
Yeah.
Gareth Keegan, actually, is a big fan of the page. He shares a lot of our stuff. He seems to be flat out with you.
He's some boy, he loves them.
Yeah. But no, like myself and Jay have obviously we went out to the lads take care, and we didn't have a swim because I'm brutal. Jay just bottled it.
I left I had everything with me and all.
He created a new pool. He fucking jumped in someone's garden and was pissing for about literally, no word of a lie.
Genuine.
He was pissing for at least 8 minutes. Imagine pissing for 8 minutes.
It's not even a slight exaggeration.
It's literally. I was like, how are you still going?
That's what it'd be like at the podcast. So I don't know how you would sit here for the whole time and
That
not have
has
to go
to
to
be-
the
Do you need to
fucking
go
jacks.
toilet?
100% I do, yeah.
Right, Martin, you just stop recording there and I'll add it in. You can fucking go to the toilet, bud.
Yeah, I was gonna sit here and I was gonna be like, fuck it, I'll just leave it.
Go to Jim
Yeah, good
Carrey
to
around
go.
and start pissing in a bottle.
Yeah, good to go.
Where's the jacks?
So